Good afternoon. Having one of these kind of days, I've got lots of little bits of paper because I made some notes for this and then I thought about the questions for you. Now on another bit of paper. So I'm going to try and stick them together so it makes some sense to me as we go through. We'll see how that goes. Right, stick it there. So this is my little Thursday, yes it is Thursday, mini coaching session where we talk about a topic and I'll talk around that area and I'll ask you a couple of questions for you to just think about yourself. So if you're joining live or if you're watching on replay, have a little piece of paper handy and a pen because I've got a couple of questions for you today. I thought of talking about happiness, and that actually is quite relevant to me right now, funnily enough, because as it turns out, I'm not having the best of weeks up in this head of mine. Not feeling too bad today, but I've had some not so good days, mental health wise. So this is quite important to me, this one, hopefully as well as you guys. So my question is, or the area we're talking about is, where is your happiness coming from? And have a little think about that. Where is your happiness coming from? Do you think that happiness comes from inside you, or do you feel that happiness comes from outside of you? Because that's quite a big topic, and quite a lot of the people I've been working with recently, we do have these conversations because it's very important to understand how you see happiness and how it impacts your life. If you're still searching for it, if you feel it comes intrinsically from you or if it's an extrinsic thing. So, firstly, what I want to say about happiness is to be authentically happy, it needs to come from the inside, okay, not from the outside. You can choose to be happy, it is a choice, and you can be happy despite the circumstances you are in. Think about things that have happened in your life or people that are close to you. How have they dealt with tough circumstances? Have they kind of gone down in with that situation like water down a plug hole, just getting swept away by it? Or have they actually found the good in any situation? Because by doing that, you're starting to boost your happiness or maintain it. You know, we can't control 100% of our life and what goes on around us. So if you're relying on everything around you for your happiness, you're already trying to get that back from something you don't have full control over. So it can be a bit of a thankless task. But we can control how we react to every situation in our life. And that's something I've had to have a chat with myself about this week. Okay, so you can't control everything, but you can control how you react and how you feel in certain situations. And this goes back to how you can choose to be happy. And I'm not saying you're just putting on a brave face and saying, yeah, everything's fine, when inside it's not. That's not what I'm talking about, because you're not being honest with yourself and you're not being authentic. But it's about how, regardless of the situation you're in, how you become more resilient to that situation by finding what is good and finding ways to be happy on some level. So again, I'm not talking about being ecstatically happy the whole time, because frankly, that's not realistic and probably quite annoying for everyone around you. But it's about finding a level of happiness and not getting swept into that kind of water down the plug hole situation where everything's going out of control and you're going with it. Something else I would add about you need to be aware that you can control your reactions to any situation. It's about having that self-awareness. Self-awareness is really very important in life. And that is where you can take a step outside yourself and look at how you're behaving, look at how you're feeling, and look at how you're reacting. That is your self-awareness. So as I'm talking to you now about this, have a think about that. Do you feel that you do have quite a good level of self-awareness of how you behave and how you feel? Or do you think that you're so buried deep in yourself and what's going on around you that you have lost that? I think with modern life and all the pressures on us, especially over the last year or so, self-awareness for some people has become a lot greater, and for others they've lost that because things have felt very out of control. So think about your self-awareness levels. Are you able to take a step back and say, right, how did I react in that situation? Or I can feel a situation coming up. How am I going to deal with this so that I can maintain a level of happiness, maintain my mental health, and help deal with this situation in a much better way? So here are my questions. As I hold my curly post-it note down, trying to look very professional. One question I would have for you is, what needs to happen in your life that will make you truly happy? So have a think about that. What needs to happen in your life for you to feel truly happy? So the first thing I would say is, if you're starting to write down what things do need to happen, then I'm just going to politely remind you gently that remember that happiness comes from the inside. So whatever you might now be writing down, whether it be bigger house, better job, pay rise, better health, you are putting the reliance of your happiness on external situations and circumstances. And those can be things that we don't have 100% control over. So take it back down a notch and think about you and how you can be happy on the inside and how that will make your life truly happy. Next question. Do you rely on others being happy for you to be happy? I'm sure there's a better way of wording that, but I can't think of it. So think about it. Is your happiness reliant on other people being happy? And write down a yes or no answer. If you're writing down that yes, there are certain people in your life that you need to see happy in order for you to be happy, then we're starting to cross into other areas of people pleasing and boundaries. Because again, your happiness is being dictated by how you feel other people are. And that again is something you do not have 100% control over. You don't know how they're feeling. You don't know what's going on in their life necessarily. It's a lot of pressure on them to be happy for your sake. It's a lot of pressure on you to try and keep them happy when happiness is an inside job. And I was only speaking to one client yesterday about this very topic, about boundaries and happiness. And like many people, she can now see that her happiness is reliant on other people being happy around her. And that is a big tall order, because you're also more likely to say yes to people a lot, put too much on your plate, risk anxiety, depression, burnout, all sorts of things, because you feel that for you to be happy, you've got to keep others happy. So bring some awareness to that. If you're writing down that you do rely on others being happy for your happiness, be really, really careful about how you're managing your life and your energy. What else did I put on my notes? Yeah, happiness is a choice. Okay, as I said earlier, and it really is. And even in those weeks which I'm having, where it can be a bit of a struggle and you can feel a shift going on in your mind, it is always a choice. So what strategies do you have? What tips and tools and techniques do you have to start bringing that happiness back in? And don't let others be responsible for your happiness. There's a guy you might like to follow called Adam Cam. He's known as Savage Wisdom. It is savage, but it's very good. And I won't use the wording exactly as he uses, because we save that for like when no one's around. But he would say, you know that phrase, find somebody that makes you happy. I mean, like, why? Find somebody that makes you happy? No. Get yourself happy, then find somebody else that makes it even better. Okay? So we have been brought up with these little sayings. Find someone that makes you truly happy. How about you make yourself truly happy, and then you meet with someone that makes you even happier? Okay? Likewise, don't you go meeting someone that you feel you have to make them happy. Okay? Happiness is an inside job. It is your sole responsibility to be happy and find ways of doing that. So, tips for cultivating that general feeling of happiness every day in some way. Okay, again, I'm not saying to be ecstatically happy and beaming like a ray of sunshine every day, but bringing an awareness to a level of happiness every day is really important. And I'm talking to you from many years' experience of struggling with this kind of stuff, up and down, up and down, up and down, sometimes really good, sometimes really bad. My first tip would be count your blessings. Okay, show a little bit of gratitude for what you do have in your life, no matter how bad the circumstances are and the situations are. Okay, look for what is good in life, no matter how small, and be happy for that and mean it. By shifting your focus onto what makes you happy, makes a big change in your brain and in your physical health. Next tip. You know you've heard this before, but forcing yourself to smile, even when you don't want to, actually influences the brain's processes. Stimulating muscles for a smile changes messages to the brain, tells your brain that you are feeling happy. Therefore, it sends messages to your body that you are happy. Okay? So force that smile, even if you don't want to, and that can make a really good change in the brain. Affirmations are great. That sounds fancy pants. Just say something nice each day. Make an intention for the day, and you can start really tiny. So there's a brilliant book called Tiny Habits, and one of them in there is one that I started using some months ago, and it's now hardwired. As I wake up in the morning, I say to myself, today is going to be a great day. Even if I wake up feeling a bit crappy or I've got a tough day ahead, I say it regardless. People have used that very small habit and it has actually started to pull them out of a really seriously depressive state. Even if they don't think the day is going to be good, by just saying it, you are setting an intention and you're putting the possibility out there. So that's one suggestion. An affirmation of some sort that suits you, whether it's today's going to be a great day, I'm feeling good about today, life is good, whatever it is for you, pick one, say it to yourself each morning. Stick with that for a week or two and see how different you feel when you wake up. And one more thing, make time for yourself so that you can get happy and be grateful for what is going on in your life. Most of us have an alarm set and we throw ourselves out of bed in a panic and a rush because we've not really left enough time. We're already thinking about everything we've got to do for everybody else and work and all the necessary stuff, but we're not thinking about what we need as people. Try setting your alarm 10 minutes earlier than usual for 1 week and take that 10 minutes to just listen to your body, say a little affirmation, maybe do a little bit of deep breathing or read a chapter of a book, something that makes you happy. Don't pick up your phone and start scrolling. Think about something else you can do for 10 minutes that makes you feel happy. It might be that you actually get up and make yourself a cup of tea in peace, knowing that you don't have to rush into your day. These small things can make a really big difference to your level of happiness and success. And also, the last one I wanted to say is, when you find yourself in a really tough situation, it happens in everybody's lives. Look for what is going on in that situation that you can be grateful for and how you can learn from it. So search for the benefit of pain. If nothing else, by getting yourself through that situation, you'll be using your strengths of perseverance and perspective. And that in itself is a really great thing. So when you do have a situation which seems awful and how on earth can I find any happiness in this situation, know that you are learning from it, you are growing, and that you are using your character strengths of perseverance and perspective. Okay? There is always something, regardless of how bleak it is, to be grateful for. And from that you can grow more happiness from inside of you. So to recap on this little quick session, happiness comes from the inside. It does not come from external factors, whether that be people, material things, career progression. Happiness is an inside job, and it is your choice whether or not you're happy. There are loads of different ways to find happiness. Find some that you enjoy, and if you're really stuck, you can drop me a DM. Be really careful if you are relying on your happiness coming from other people, because ultimately you could get let down by that, and that is not their fault. That is just because you are putting your happiness into something that you don't have full control over. So I hope that's been helpful and that you've made some notes. I'd love to know what you think of this chat, and if it's made you go, made you think a little bit differently about something in your life. Try some of those tips that I've just given you. Count your blessings, force a smile, knowing that your brain will change the messages to your body. Use an affirmation in the morning, just a short thing, something simple, and set your alarm 10 minutes early so that you can spend a little bit of time to yourself feeling happy. And I will see you next time.